Hi and welcome back to Joe Talks Cars and welcome to another video. I wanted to do this video today just to explain the reasons why I chose to buy this Porsche Cayman S, and whether I would recommend it to somebody else. So let's go for a drive and we'll have a little chat. So why did I buy this car, and why specifically did I buy this 3.4 litre Tiptronic Cayman? So basically, it all comes down to my car history. So when I started driving, I originally had a MG Midget, a 1977 MG Midget. It was a two-seater, convertible, classic sports car. Such brilliant fun, made a great noise, and it was lightly tuned, so it had around 90 horsepower or thereabouts. So it was pretty quick, to be honest. The downside with that car is it was extremely dangerous, and I don't think if I'd still had the car now I'd be sat here today. I would have wiped myself out somewhere. We had some pretty close calls in that car. I only kept that car for about a year, and I still miss it to this day, but you can't keep things forever, especially ones that want to try and kill you. After selling that, I replaced it with a Megane CC, so the sort of hard-top convertible version of the Megane. So it was a 2007 and was fitted with a 1.6 litre engine, so really massively underpowered for the size of car it was. But I was only 18, so the insurance was sky high at that, so a 1.6 was quite a big engine to have. When I got a little bit older, I'd realised I wanted a more powerful car, but the problem was I absolutely loved my Megane. Some cars just get under your skin and you just really love them, and that was one of them, so I really didn't want to get rid of it, and I couldn't think of what I wanted to replace it for. I'll put a card at the top of the screen now which will take you to just a sound clip of it revving. Not the most interesting video, but it'll give you an idea of what I achieved with that. Spent many thousands of pounds on that car, and although in some ways I do regret doing what I did, I learned a lot about cars in the meantime. When I came to sell that car at the end of lockdown, I think I just got to a point where I just wanted something that was well made. At the end of the day, that Renault was French, and they can't make cars as well as the Germans, so it really did start to grate on me a bit, rattled, and to be honest, it didn't handle the power all that well. So I decided I'd grown up at that point, and I thought, I need something German. I also own a Golf GTI, and I'll put a card in the screen for my quick review of that, but that sort of made me realise how good the Germans were at making cars and how much I needed to buy a German car. So that'll be the first point, really. One of the main reasons why I bought this car is because I wanted a German car. I wanted something that was put together perfectly, and no one does cars quite like Porsche. No one screws them together and engineers them quite like they do, so it was an obvious brand to start looking at. This wasn't the only brand I looked at. I was interested in a Mercedes SLK 55 and BMW Z4 Coupe as well. As soon as I took a Porsche Cayman out for a drive, well, it had to be done, so I didn't actually get to test drive those or even look at any for that matter, so that gives you an idea of how well this car drives. I had a list of things I wanted to try out, and as soon as I got behind the wheel of this, I realised I didn't really want any other car, I just wanted one of these. The grip levels, you just can't believe it. Round some of these twisty corners, the car has so much more talent than what I do, something that you don't find in a front-engined or rear-engined car. So that would be another reason why I chose it. Why did I pick the 3.4? I get asked that question a lot, and I think it's down to the fact that the 3.4 is more unreliable than the 2.7, so people wonder why you would specifically choose that with the risk that it comes with. But I always said when I had the Megane that when I swapped it, I just wanted a car that was quick out the box, that I didn't need to modify. And for me, a 2.7, it just wasn't big enough. I knew I'd miss out on the extra CC and the extra performance that you get from the S, so for me it was worth the risk. I did a little bit of research and I managed to find a good one, and I'd just recommend anyone do that. If you're wanting like a little buyer's guide on the Porsche Cayman, then just click the card at the top of the screen now, and that'll take you to my very, very simple buyer's guide. By no means an exhaustive list, and I've been told on countless occasions that I've missed a lot of things off there. But these are just some of the things that I found helpful when looking for a car. Obviously, when you're buying a used car, one main consideration is always going to be cost. When I was looking for a replacement for the Megane, I had a budget of around $15,000, and I tried to find something interesting for that. And I was quite happy to look for older vehicles in order to get something interesting. I couldn't believe it when I went onto eBay and Auto Trader and found that you can get a low mileage Cayman for that kind of money. I was genuinely shocked. Yes, they've devalued from list price, but they seem to have stopped now. And having a few conversations with people since I bought it, they're saying that they're going up in price now, and I'm not sure whether that's just the effect of summer or anything like that, but the prices do seem to be creeping up. I've just had a conversation with a guy in the comments about him searching for a 2.7, saying he's got 11,000 to spend. Well, that would have gone miles at the end of lockdown, but he was right. When I went to look, there really wasn't much out there. There wasn't much for that kind of money, so it does show the prices have gone up. So really, that's another massive advantage of buying one of these, and the reason why I bought one was the values. They hold the value so well. So you can spend 14,000 on one of these. In a couple of years' time, you're going to get almost all of it back, if not more of it. They don't depreciate at all, so I'm not going to lose a ton of money on it, and if anything, really. Another really deciding factor as to why I bought a Cayman. You buy a Mercedes or anything like that, and they can devalue to the point where they're worth a few £100. Well, you're not really going to get that with a Porsche. I can see a lot of people be watching this video and thinking, I'd really like to own a Porsche, but to be honest, they frighten me. The bills that can be potentially had with these is enough to put you off, and it is something you need to think about. However, so far in my ownership, although it's only 8 months, I've not really had any huge bills. I've not had anything that's made me sort of go, Jesus, I wish I'd bought something different or something less expensive. It's just really not. I've done a video on running costs, and I'll put a card on the top of the screen now. And because I've only owned the car for about 8 months, I didn't think it was fair just to show what I've spent, because I could have potentially spent nothing, and I've almost spent nothing on it. So I have put in the invoices from the previous owner just so you can get an idea of how much it cost. You'd be surprised. Some of it's quite affordable and some of it really expensive, so it is just something worth bearing in mind when you're looking at buying one of these, but don't let it put you off buying one. And I wouldn't put someone off buying one because of the cost. I get a lot of people in the comments asking me why I bought the Tiptronic, saying it's not a proper driver's car, etc, etc. But the reason why I bought the Tiptronic was quite a simple one, really. I've got a manual car and I just really fancied an automatic, and I thought, well, Porsche do make a Tiptronic with the Cayman, so if I find one, I'll go and test drive it. I wasn't even planning on buying one, but I thought, I don't want to be one of those people that just goes onto the forum, sees that everyone says they're horrible and will never ever drive one to find out. So I thought, make my own mind up of whether I like it. I realised there's nothing wrong with this gearbox, and it's just exaggerated on forums about how bad it is and how slow it is. It's just simply not. The manual may suit the characteristic of the car better. So would I recommend anyone to buy a Porsche Cayman? Well, it's a two-part answer, really. The first being yes, I would recommend it to anyone. The running costs aren't as bad as what you expect, and just in general, the driving characteristics of it are unmatched by anything at this price. If anyone asked me would I recommend they went out and bought one tomorrow, I would say yes, and I don't think you'd regret it. The second part of the answer, which would be no, is just down to you're always thinking, I wonder if it's ball scoring, I wonder if it's started, and that will never go away for me. And I think if you're the type of person that would really be bothered by that, then you probably should be looking at the 2.7. So the 2.7 is actually a really amazing car to consider, because the engine's even more reliable than the S. You've still got the flat six engine and the beautiful, beautiful soundtrack, but without any of the sort of drawbacks of the 3.4's reliability issues. Yes, the ball scoring and the other issues with these cars is quite small numbers, and this one thankfully has not got any of them yet. but it is something worth considering, and it is something that's always in the back of my mind. Would I advise someone to get the Tiptronic over the manual? Of course I would. It's a brilliant gearbox. It depends what you want to do with your car. If you're the type of person that goes to track days and does hill climbs in it, then I'd probably suggest you went with the manual. But if you drive it to work and back again, to the shops, you do long drive, even the occasional track day, then the automatic is surely going to fit that bill just as well. Because for what I use the car for, it just makes it so much easier. I do have another manual car, and sometimes when I'm out in that, I just think, I forget how easy this is to drive, and it's no less fun. So hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you can give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. I really appreciate every single person that has subscribed so far. Over the past 4 weeks, this channel has grown from 0 to like 120 subscribers, and it's really humbling that you all want to watch videos on my Porsche. Lockdown has really restricted the amount of videos that I can put out and what sort of content I do, but I do have a lot of plans with this car and some of my other cars as well. So if you want to see more Porsche content, please make sure you subscribe and hit that bell icon so you don't miss a thing. And until next time, bye.